Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is Eisenherz, and those of you who have been subscribed for a while now know that I've made deck techs on all my CEH decks, and that I've been wanting to build an abs and stacks deck for ages. Well, the time has finally come, and today we're going to have a look at my newest deck, Thalia Gitrog Hatebear Stax. Let's start by checking out the commander first. I mean, we need a good reason to play Thalia and the Gitrog monster over Tymna, right? Well, Thalia and the Gitrog monster is a 4/4 human frog horror for 1 colorless and absent mana that has first strike, death touch, allows you to play an extra land every turn, and reads creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Whenever Thalia and the Gitrog monster attacks, sacrifice a creature or land, then draw a card. Right off the bat, that is a ton of text and value on a single card. I love that. And if you played MTG during the Innistrad sets, you will know of course that this card combines the effects of Thalia Heretic Cathar and the infamous Gitrog monster. Let's analyze this commander from all its angles. First, we have a creature with first strike and death touch, a combination of abilities that allows us to kill every other creature in combat. And our commander is also big enough to pressure life totals. So our commander is both incredible as an attacker if we need to get rid of opponents or their creatures, and as a blocker if we can't or don't want to attack and need to protect our life. Second, our commander provides 2 additional layers of stacks by having non-basic lands and creatures of our opponents enter tapped. This helps immensely to slow down the game and hate on multicolored lands, with fetch lands becoming worse than evolving wilds and opponents' creatures not being able to attack or block the turn they have entered. This not only allows us to hit our opponent's face more reliably, but it also hates on Kiki Jiki and other similar combos, which usually work through the most widely played stacks pieces. Third, our commander can help us to ramp and stabilize our mana production by allowing us to play 2 lands every turn. Combined with a high enough land count and cards like Ramunap Excavator or Crucible of Worlds, this leads to a steady flow of lands, and it helps us to use our commander's last ability. If we attack with Thalia and the Gitrog monster, we have to sacrifice a creature or land, and then draw a card. This might not be the best card advantage engine, but every card we draw is good, and combined with the aforementioned Excavator and Crucible, we can use this ability to keep ramping and drawing cards. Furthermore, the sacrifice trigger can be used to sacrifice stacks pieces we need to get rid of, or combo enablers like Protean Hulk, Arena Rector and Academy Rector. Alright, now that we have analyzed the commander thoroughly, let's have a look at the 99. And why not start with the stacks pieces, as those are the core of the deck. My version of Thalia and the Gitrog monster is absolutely centered around the strongest stacks pieces in the format. I took great inspiration from the already established win-conless Tymna Kamal list, which I also made a video on in the past. The stacks pieces are specifically chosen to disrupt the most common decks, strategies and win-cons in CDH, and to allow us to create an absolute hard lock. The foundation of our stacks arsenal is Rule of Law, and similar effects like Deafening Silence, Archon of Emeria, Aetherstone Canonist and Eidolon of Rhetoric. The second most important stacks effect is Artifact Hate, with Collector Oof, Null Rod, Stony Silence and to a degree even Blind Obedience and Yasharn. We add some Underworld Breach hate with Dranith Magistrate, Dalthi Voidwalker and Endurance, some creature hate with Drana and Linvala, Hushbringer and our commander itself, and obviously some tutor hate with Aven Mindcensor and Opposition Agent. To create a hard lock we play Yasharn, Ashaya, Archon of Valor's Reach and Sylvan Safekeeper. With these pieces out, there is almost nothing our opponents can do to get rid of our board or win the game. Of course, these are not all viable stacks pieces, and not even all the stacks pieces in my current deck list, but I've listed other notable stacks options in the primer, so make sure to check it out, the link is down below. Okay, that's a stack suit to stop our opponents from winning. But how does the deck itself actually close out the game? Well, obviously we can go for combat as a win con. But that is not all that efficient without a huge combat enabler like Kamal in the command zone. Although cards like Elishnorn and Shalai will help us clear the way and buff our board, combat only is just not enough. Because I'm personally not a fan of big combo packages with mostly dead cards, I opted to play the most compact and efficient combo Abs and Colors allow for, Witherbloom Apprentice and Chain of Smog. This combo is cheap and wins the game, but it's fragile, so I only go for it when I'm well protected with Grand Abolisher or tons of layered stacks. We can also play this combo through our own rule of law effects, by tutoring Witherbloom Apprentice into play either in instant speed with Court of Calling, or by putting it into play with Fiend Artisan and then casting Chain of Smog. If we have Sanctum Prelate in play on 2, we can just sack it into our commander's triggered ability and combo off in our second main phase. Easy peasy. Now, I personally might not be a fan of Hulk lines, but that doesn't mean that they are bad. On the contrary, they can work through a lot of stacks pieces and make good use of our commander's triggered ability. So if you want to see some viable Hulk piles, make sure to check the primer. I took the time to write down some of the best and most compact piles that could be played in this deck. Okay, we got a strong commander, an arsenal of cards to hate on our opponents, a compact way to win through our own stacks pieces, but how do we get there without Tymna in the command zone as our main card draw engine? Drawing cards is crucial for every CDH deck. The more cards you have in hand, the more options you have for your game. Simple. And not having Tymna in the command zone, nor the potential to play Rhystic Study or Mystic Remora feels kind of bad. But we can deal with that issue by playing some other creature-based card draw engines in the 99. Obviously, Esper Sentinel and Sylvan Library are staples, but especially Toski and Oran Frostfang allow us to draw tons of cards once they are in play. Remember, this deck plays 35 to 40 creatures, all of which can now draw cards if they hit face, and our commander makes sure to keep blockers at bay. And yes, you could play Tymna in the 99, but let's be real, if you're willing to play Tymna in the 99, you should just play her as a commander and call it a day. Alright, so let's check the general game plan. In the early game, your goal is to deploy 1 or 2 devastating stacks pieces against any kind of turbo deck. Rule of law effects and artifact hate are the foundation. In the mid game, we establish our lock by deploying layer upon layer of additional stacks and or protection for the stacks pieces we already have. In the late game, our main objective is to beat face and draw cards while doing so. This puts a lot of pressure on our opponents, forces them into hasty misplays and allows us to outvalue them. To finish the game, we then tutor up our combo pieces or just swing for lethal with the help of Norn and or Shalai, who can pump our board better than anabolic steroids pumped up the Liver King. GG. Thalia and the Gitrog Monster 101. So let's finish this deck tech with some sugar and spice, because no CEH deck is complete without it. Here are some cards I want to explore in the future. Ulvenwald Tracker. This little human can let our commander deal damage to any creature on the board, which allows us to kill most pesky commanders and opposing hate pieces. Looking at you, Winota players. Similarly, Viridian Longbow and Thornbite Staff can allow us to deal with all creatures. But as those are equipments and we try to hate on activated abilities of artifacts, these are just not viable. Strip Mine and Wasteland. With double land drops every turn through our commander and land recursion through Random Nap Excavator, these lands can allow us to destroy our opponent's land base. This provides an additional layer of hate that can be used against specific opponents that would otherwise find a way to work through our stacks pieces. This synergy is maybe just a tad too cute for a 4-player game, but I think it's worth testing, as you don't need to destroy all the lands, just those of scary opponents. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to like the video, share it with your friends, leave a comment down below about some spicy includes for the deck, and of course don't forget to subscribe to my channel. The primer is still a work in progress, but it's coming along nicely, so make sure to check it out as well. Thank you for watching, this is Eisenherz and auf Wiedersehen.